Hello everyone, and welcome to our long-awaited video on how we created this awesome double-decker upper cabinet that will essentially be our dresser in our 2018 Ram Promaster Daisy.
We are super excited about the design we came up with, as it allows for plenty of storage without taking up too much space in our sleep area.
If you haven't already, go check out our last video where we show you how we built a very basic upper cabinet for our kitchen area. Now let's get started.
Start making the corner piece up here. I'm gonna do it similar how I did that piece over there. I've got a couple little rivet nuts already inserted. They're size 10s. I'm going to put one piece of board here, one piece of board over there, cut a little gaps for the wires that I'm gonna run. Then I'll put a piece over all of that and covering this that will just sit right in this corner, and I'll screw it into the pieces that I've bolted to the van. I'm also gonna put a little outlet right here, another 12-volt outlet. That's gonna be for some power, for some possibly mood lights, and a tablet or a laptop or some kind of screen that we can power and put up against our cabinets here so we have something to watch at night or on rainy days. For anyone who's new to my channel or hasn't heard me say this, this is the way that I find where to drill the holes for being able to screw into your rivet nut locations. Put a couple bolts in there. I like the hexagon shaped one. And then I put this piece of wood up exactly where I'm gonna want it. Now the trick here is to hold it as still as you can. Just do light taps. If you do heavy taps, you're gonna shift the wood when you hit it hard. So just do light taps. Now you can see it made two good marks for me already. One right here, one right here. So those are the ones I'm gonna use, not these little ones that happened after, because that's after it moved. But here and here. Now I know where to drill my holes so that this will perfectly mount right here. So I just marked the ends where the wire runs on the back side here. So this is where I'm gonna run a router through a couple times just to take an inch or so off of here, so a wire can run through here and it won't get pinched by me tightening this to the frame of the van. Here we go. Wasn't a great job done, but since you won't see this, it really doesn't matter. Just need to make sure that wire can get in there. So now, if you can see, this wire won't be pinched. It's nice and in there, that groove, so it's still loose back there. It's not being pinched or pulled tight. And then these wires will be over here. This will be where the other outlet is. So we'll just finish screwing this on. Now I can take a nice long piece of wood, try and get to sit right in here. Might have to cut it an awkward shape. Might even have it pass forward through this. It's not a bad idea. Have electricity, so I don't have to run the power cord extension in here anymore. This is some extra wire that I ran after needing to redo the fan wire. Don't worry, there's no fuse in it, it's not hot. But I'm going to connect it to these, and that's going to be for my lights or anything else that I decide. Just a couple extra outlets hidden away that I can use later. Most likely it will be some kind of mood lighting or like LED light strips, or potentially like a TV or something, like a way to charge some kind of USB controlled device. This thing came with an inline fuse, but I'm already going to fuse it at the box, so I really don't want it in there. Just because if something goes wrong with this is behind the wall, and it's a lot harder for me to replace that than the fuse down in my distribution panel. Not only that, I believe the fuses need to be as close to the battery as possible, so having this so far away does me no good. So I would just cut out this inline fuse. Once we attached the wires on the back here, there wasn't actually enough room for this to sit all the way in flush with the board. So unfortunately we have to add a little bit of a spacer. And by little, I mean quite a large spacer, honestly. The pieces that attach on the end here add about an inch almost onto the back of these pegs. So you need quite a bit of space behind here. And I barely had any, so this should fix it. We're gonna glue this on, attach the face here, and we'll paint and clean all this up, and then we can attach this. While that is gluing, we are going to start drilling the holes in here that we're going to use to attach our bolts for the under part that will hold up our upper cabinets over here. We're going to do 2 layers of cabinets on this side, so larger cabinets on the top and then a slightly smaller one underneath. We haven't exactly figured out the sizes, but we'll show you guys when we get there. Putting up this piece now. It looks like it fits. We've got the wires behind there. If it works, we're able to screw it up to the wood that's back there to that piece. So seems good. We're gonna attach it now. And so I know I showed you guys before, but this is where we'll have a couple hidden outlets for our mood lights and maybe to charge a device that we use for like TV, maybe speakers, things like that. So we've got a couple outlets run here. They're all powered up, ready to go. Upper cabinets coming in here next. Alright, there we go. We got it bolted on with these, I think that they're a little larger than 5/16. I think they're like M8s or something, but we couldn't get this 5th one in. But I'm not too worried about it. I just drilled the hole a little bit off. Honestly, this thing is so sturdy with these forks. These are huge. This is the size that we've got in there. They're large. So, pretty sure that we're just going to do 4 and call it good and not worry about that one. Now we got the base part for our upper cabinets here. Tomorrow we'll finish them. So we knew this one was going to be a little more complicated, but it's turning out to be even more so than we thought. We're going to really try to build this cabinet to the shape of the van, which our van kind of closes up on this side. It gets smaller. It's probably the way we built it, us moving this so far over. Definitely the ceiling here bends down a little bit so we could attach it to here. That side over there, there's about a 12.5-inch gap. Over here, it's about 9.5-inch gap. So it's not going to be perfectly square, but we're going to try and make it fit really nice and custom. Alright, so there's probably much easier ways to test fit this stuff, but we haven't figured out how to do that. So I'm going to show you guys how we're kind of test fitting these pieces before we do it. It takes a lot of balance and a lot of holding things up with your arms for a long time. It's not the most fun, but good luck. Okay. Let's think about how we can do this otherwise, because we need to know. We need to know where to attach. You know what? You know what? You know what would make it easier is if we attach these pieces first, and then we're only holding 2 pieces instead of doing the whole balancing. So we won't worry about that yet. So that fits. We know that. That's all that matters. So after you've made the templates out of the cardboard, the real fun begins, because then you got to transfer those to your wood, and the wood is a lot less forgiving than the cardboard. So when you're actually trying to fit the wood templates in there, the tiniest little piece of wood that's sticking out is going to make the whole thing wobbly or not fit. It's a whole different monster, and it honestly, if we recorded everything that it actually takes to get these perfect, all of the amount of time sanding and going back and test fitting and coming back and cutting a little bit and sanding and refitting, you guys would not watch. So that's one thing about van life, is everything makes it look really quick and easy. One cut, a little bit of sanding, and voila, it's beautiful. That's not the case, at least not for us. Maybe it is for you guys, but it's literally just back and forth for hours to get these pieces to fit the way that we want them to. Nice. So we'll glue it, clamp it here, hold it while we screw it down, in and in. Alright, making these side pieces is a pain in the butt, man. Getting them just right, but once you've got them right, getting them attached is pretty simple. Just a little glue, a couple clamps, and some pocket screws. Should be good to go. We'll do this side, and then we'll do the ones for the bottom piece, which should be much easier because these are going to be square, basically. These are like 90% square, where those are every kind of weird shape and angle. So, yeah, hopefully be able to get a lot of this done today. So like I was saying, compared to those upper cabinets where like not even this edge is straight, as you can see, because our wall actually curves in a little bit. This corner is really hard to get. This slants down a tiny bit because of our ceiling. All kinds of toughness. But luckily, the inserts for our lower cabinet, this is the basic shape. Other than a small little cutout right here that we'll have to make, they're going to be much more simple than these upper ones. So these should go a lot faster, hopefully. I feel like a teacher with this. Just like that, within a matter of a few minutes, we've got both of these dividers. Much easier to make than the other ones. Now we just need to make a centerpiece for here, which is a very basic square shape. Should be no problem at all. So we got these pieces nice and perfect, and we test fit them on here. Everything looked really good. We were literally moments away from gluing them, and I'm like, maybe we should just test fit it all one more time. We put this up, put this under it, and this is why everyone says measure twice, cut once, because it would have been such a pain if we glued those on, and we had forgot to take into account this support post. We didn't cut that lip out, so it would have got stuck here. It doesn't fit. So now I'm marking where we need to cut so that these will slide in perfectly right here. But it's just another example of why it's good to do a lot of testing, test fit, measures, everything, because you don't want to make a mistake like that. That would have been so hard to fix. Not so hard, but it would have been a lot of extra work. Alright, on to the last dividers. We've made some more pocket holes. We're going to glue and clamp these in and then screw a couple little pocket screws in. Then all the dividers and stuff are done. We just got to do the end pieces and attach this to the larger piece. We're gonna do basically the whole cabinet outside of the van and then put it all in and attach it, just kind of like we did the last one, but it'll be harder because we've got 2 levels to this one and it's much larger and heavier, so we'll see how it goes. Seeing these, and for some reason, to me at least, these look like the state of Washington. Our little dividers kind of look like they're shaped in the state of Washington. Maybe I'm crazy. So you can buy these next to the Craig Jig pocket holes that you get, and they're just little wood filler things. I'm going to show you how you use them. It's really nice. It makes your project look a lot better because you can sand and paint them down. I cut them really short because my holes are really shallow, so the full size didn't work, so I cut them short, which is a little scary, but do it at your own caution. If you do, you'll see what it looks like though. It looks great. Let's show you. Look at how nice that looks. Once you sand that down and paint it, you can't even tell that we put screws there. Alright, well, what we didn't record was like 2 hours of me sanding this. We realized before we attach this piece here, it's going to be best if we do a lot of the sanding. I'll do a little bit after, but got most of the sanding done, especially these small compartments. So that way now we can attach this piece. Then we're going to let this dry overnight. Tomorrow we'll build some custom sides, which is going to be the last difficult part about this job. Other than putting the sides in, the rest is going to be easy. We're just going to sand it, paint it, attach it. So we're getting real close to being done with this project. Thank goodness. This is what we're working with here. This side over here is actually slightly smaller than this side. And that's because it fits the shape of the van. It's slight enough that you're probably not going to notice a difference. Over here is about a full inch shorter than over here, and it gradually gets bigger. And that's because that's what happens here. As I showed you, the distance from the ceiling over here and over there are different. If you look on the back side here, you can see some of the custom cutouts that we have to make to get these things to fit. This and this and this. And over here, these are the angles for this wall piece. And again, these edges here aren't straight either. So all of that means we have to do a lot of custom fitting, a lot of custom work, because this cabinet isn't going to fit anywhere else in the world except for my exact little spot that it's going. It's completely custom fabricated for that spot. It's shaped to fit my van in that spot, and that's it. It's not going anywhere else. But so far, we've made this whole thing outside of the van, and when we go up there and set it on, it just fits snug as a rug right in there. With all those weird angles, all those weird shapes, everything touches. We're gonna be able to use these pocket screws to attach it to the wall. We're gonna use these corner spots to attach it to the corner spots. We're also gonna screw in this piece right here on top of the support beam that it's gonna rest on right there. I mean, it's gonna be tight and it's gonna have a lot of anchors. It's gonna hold really well. It's a ton of work, but I feel really good about it. It's nice to have our own custom piece. I'll just show you guys some of this artwork a little more here. Now we gotta make 2 more pieces that will be difficult. And that will be these side pieces. We'll easily be able to get this dimensions and measure and cut this part perfect. So this part's all great. But the difficulty will be getting this edge to line up against the wall, because we know the wall's not straight. Then this corner piece down here that we know is at a slant, that's going to be different than the other side. And the ceiling, which isn't straight either. So this edge, this slant, and this edge will be very difficult and take a lot of time. The rest of this part will be easy. We've got to do that twice, 1 for each side. Then we can attach that. Once we do that, the rest is easy. Sand it, paint it, attach it. Done. One other thing, look how nice these turned out once you put these wood pieces in for the pocket screws. sand it. Once we paint it, you won't even know. Got one here, got one here, two here. Once again, we didn't show you every step of the process of us making these templates. We got some of it recorded, but that's just because it's so much tedious work. It's simple to do. You just keep lining it up, putting it up there, testing the fit, marking it with pencil, taking it down, sanding, cutting, blah, blah. But we've done it. Took us a couple hours, but we've got two perfect sides. We're gonna glue them on now. Again, as you can see why it takes so long, look at how none of these sides are actually symmetrical. I mean, it's such odd shapes, but it fits perfectly here. We've got the notched out part for our support beam. It's gonna work. So it took a long time, but we're ready to glue and attach the side pieces on, and then we're almost there.
You might want to tell him too that we like tested it out by clamping.
Yeah, Allison brought up a good point. It was really helpful for us to make sure that by attaching these, we were still gonna be able to fit it into place and to mount it. What we did is we just took some clamps and clamped on the edges here to put this on. So we've already test fit both ends clamped onto here and made sure that we can still put it into place up there and it fits perfectly and that we'll be able to attach it. So we know that, we're confident about that. We're gonna glue it on, screw it on. Let's go. Sanded up. Well, I got to do a final sand, but we got the wood glue to cover up some of these screw marks, cover up some of the blemishes. So we've, not wood glue, but plastic wood, cover up these edges a little bit. So now I'm going to do a final sand, and we're going to paint it and mount it. Today's the day. All right, all primed and first coat down, one more coat to go. Then we finally get to install this thing. My goodness, I'm excited to get this installed and move on to another project. It's been a lot. We did not show you. I spent probably in total about 4 hours sanding this thing because even though I had sanded along the way, there was still so many nooks and crannies that were hard to get to, and just to get it to fit right and everything. I mean, we don't show you all the work that goes into these things, but just believe me when I say it's been a lot of time spent on this thing. All right, and she's ready to mount. So here we go. Time to put it up there. The last thing we got to do before we mount it is figure out where these are going to go. I'm going to use these to connect it to the roof. So I'm going to put this side on the upper cabinet and this side on the roof, but it's not all even, so I need to figure out exactly where these go. So first we got to do that, then attach these, then we can permanently mount it. Well, I'm a sweaty mess, but we've got the cabinet hung. And real quick, before I forget, because I know everyone's probably going to ask, how did we anchor it? How did we attach it to the wall? I'm going to show you all the places that we've done that. So we've got 6 3-inch long screws that go through there down into this support beam that we put that goes all the way across. That support beam is bolted to the frame of the van. Up above here, You can see the metal brackets. We've got 6 of those metal brackets all the way across here. You can also see them peeking out just a little bit here. That go from here to the ceiling. We've also got 2.5-inch pocket screws right here, and right here. Those 2.5-inch pocket screws go straight into this beam and then also into the plywood that's behind it. Then we've also got 2, 4, 6, 8. Those are 1.5, no, I think they're 2-inch. I don't remember. I think they're 2-inch pocket screws that go directly into the studs that are behind the wall right here, 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 and here. And then lastly, we've also got 1.5-inch pocket screws there and there that go into the studs that are behind this corner piece. We've got our nice little outlets here that will be hidden but useful for some mood lights and charging a tablet or some kind of device up here that we use for movies and stuff on occasion. So that's hidden back away there. Realistically, we probably way over anchored it, to be honest, but I'm not a physics expert. I don't know about this stuff. This is the second cupboard we've ever made besides our first one. So I don't know how much it needs. So I've probably done overkill, but it's very sturdy. I mean, it's not going anywhere. I can't make it budge no matter what I do to it. So it should be able to hold lots of weight. I'm really excited about it. It looks pretty good. We got to do some touch-ups. We got to make some doors, but we've got 2 of our upper cabinets done. Basically all the upper cabinets done, other than one small piece we'll do later. The van's looking pretty good. Pretty happy.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to check out our next video where we show you how we made this nifty little cabinet above our sliding door. We'll see you next time. Cheers.